Hey, 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 good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or depending on wherever you are in the world. Thank you for hanging in there and joining another Conversations with Geoff, right? Ooh, boy, do we have, as always, we try to find someone that can speak to what's going on in the world, right? And our guest today, boy, ooh, when we talk about what he's here and helping people with, it's one of those really critical things in and around reducing debt, eliminating debt, and check this out, without having to have drastic or any change on your lifestyle. So listen to me, please. Make sure you put your phones down unless you're using them for notes. Turn off all the other things and dial into what we're going to talk about here with our next guest, right? Debt-free Santa. And this guy, okay, wait, let me just say this before we move on. Thank everybody that has been supporting Conversations with Geoff and all of the new folks that are there. We really are glad that you decided to pop in and hang out with us. Please subscribe and share this channel. Our goal this year and moving into Q1 of 2023 is to grow our contact base by 1,000 subscribers. And we're going to need everybody's help to do that. And you say, well, why? Why Conversations with Geoff? And many of you know me as a real estate investor, as the king of rehabs, right? And from that opportunity of helping change communities in the areas that we've done work in, we've also been able to help other investors and folks that were kind of like, oh man, what do I do? And listening to all the conversations about themselves with themselves that were all negative and limiting beliefs. And we all know, right, that, we can either choose to be happy or we can choose by not choosing, right? And you know what that means. We run on automatic pilot. Our subconscious runs us. We've all got the stories. And I made a couple of notes here because I wanted to challenge you. I want to really listen to me what I'm about to say to you. I'm going to ask you a question, and then don't answer it now, but answer it later. For those of you that are here, and those of you to hear this later, are you living your life full out, or are you living your life within your limitations? And those limitations are what we set every day, every morning, all through the day that keep us where we are. People wonder, well, why nothing changes? Well, if we don't change the choices that we have about ourselves and the conversations we have about ourselves, then nothing's going to change, right? And you people are always trying to have success, and I'm not successful. I can't get success. Well, I heard something this morning, and we're going to get to our guest. This is really, man, listen to me when I say this, right? Because I'm always trying to find a message that I can share with you that you can take away. And this one is powerful. Listen to what I say. He said, success is found in the attempt. So what does that mean, Geoff? That means that the conversation that you had, if it's not setting you up for success, meaning challenging you to do something different, to challenging you to feed that hero in you, challenging you to step into what you are meant to do, right? But you're just a little hesitant because the noise that's going on between your ears is holding you back. That's it. Just the little victories, right? Not the grand. And I don't want to take people away from, drink big and all that stuff. Yeah, that's important. But man, the little things, the little accomplishments are so powerful. So are you living inside your limitations? Or are you chasing that imagination of a child that we all have, right? So anyway, listen, let me get to why we're here. Think about that. Share this information. And our next guest coming up now is a good friend of mine, someone that I've met through the blessings of COVID, which opened up a whole nother level of conversation. He's part of a networking group. This man has done a bunch of different things, but what he's here to share with you today, and it's proven, is how can you, listen to me, how can you become debt-free without changing your lifestyle? Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to the stage here, my friend, our next guest, Daryl Whicker, the debt-free Santa. Let me get him over here. Come on, man. Let's go. Hey, Daryl, what's up, man?
Hey, doing great. How are you doing, Geoff?
Hey, I'm doing great as well, man. I bet people thought I was kidding when I said Santa, man. Look at that beard. That beautiful, jolly smile, man. Wow.
Well, thank you for having me today. And when you're talking about the beliefs and all that, our mind hears everything we say, and we say positive things and think those positive thoughts, we can accomplish anything. So thank you so much for being my friend and being a positive impact in my life.
Wow, hey man, I appreciate it. Back at you, my friend. And you're so true to the things we say. So what you have to say today, can get to what, let's face it, stress, financial stress, man, that's a heavy one. Right? I mean, it causes grief, it causes divorce, it causes a lot of things, man. So what made you step into this whole platform? Tell us a little bit about Daryl, because I didn't give him much to say other than debt free Santa. Give us a quick shot of who Daryl is, man.
Okay, well, thank you, Geoff. I live in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I've been married. This month will be 40 years, and so I got married when I was 5. I'm just kidding. And but we have one daughter, 3 grandkids. They're 16, 15, and 10, and they live in the same neighborhood as we do, so we get to see them often. And my wife's parents live in the same neighborhood, so it's been here all my life. And but I can help people all over the country.
Yeah.
And uh, and but anyway, I started a business back in January 4th, 2011, building custom websites and doing search engine optimization web videos. And then my business has kind of evolved. I don't focus on that part of my business anymore,
Right.
but I still have it to fall back on if I ever need to. And so I'm also in the water business. I help people with the best, healthiest water in the world. And then a lady in the water business approached me about the debt elimination a little over 2 years ago.
Mm.
And so I didn't know anything about it. I really wasn't looking to do anything else, but I told her I'd take a look at it and let her run our numbers.
Yep.
And so that's kind of how I got to where I am today.
Yeah. And we were talking before the show about the numbers, and because I think I asked the question. Everybody's probably got this question on your mind, so I'm just going to ask it for the audience, and then let's Daryl let Daryl answer it. But living debt free is, I think, something that's important for everybody. Everybody hears about it and wants to do it, but man, it almost sounds too good to be true, Daryl, to be living debt free and not have to change your lifestyle. So talk to us about that. What does that look like, man?
Okay, well, thank you, Jeff. That's a great question. And so, winning the lottery would be too good to be true. I mean, you hear people doing it every now and then, but uh, that is too good to be true in most cases, because
Yeah.
it's what, millions to one chance that you can win. With this, it's a program that has over 4.5 million lines of code in it.
Mm.
So it's working for me or working for you on your behalf 24/7 to get you debt free the fastest way mathematically possible. And the reason why I think a lot of people thinks it may be too good to be true because they've never heard of it before. Almost like, when people were riding horses and had horse and buggy, and then the automobile came out, and everybody's, well,
Yeah.
what is that? How does that work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you have to put oil in it, keep it running. You have to put gasoline in it. You have to keep your tires pumped up, things like that. So it was one of those things where a lot of people didn't know about it,
Mhm.
but yet, look at us today. I mean, look at the vehicles we have today. They're just
Right.
so far advanced.
Right.
Uh, but anyway, that's the best way I could explain it, I guess. And it worked for me. I'm living debt free and stress free, and I love it.
How long did it take you once you were introduced to it to when you made the commitment? How long did it take you to where you're sitting here now smiling because you're living the life of debt free?
Well, we what we do is we run a complimentary debt free analysis for folks to
Hmm.
show them what we can do for them, their debt free date, and how much money we can save them. And so the lady that shared it with me, she ran our numbers or did our complimentary debt free analysis, and we didn't have a lot of debt. We thought, well, our house was paid for, but we had some shameful credit card debt and a vehicle and a couple lines of credit. But we didn't have a plan or anything. This has a built-in budget and it shows you how to do it the fastest way possible. So our guaranteed debt-free date was actually the end of this year. It took us 1 year and 10 months to be totally debt free. And so we came in 9 months ahead of schedule. Our debt free date was March 11th of this year.
Wow, and I'm making notes here as we talk here too, because that's a discussion my wife and I are having, and our children or child and their family. But you said, I thought I heard you say guaranteed debt-free date. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, sir. When we run people's complimentary debt-free analysis, we can show them their guaranteed debt-free date, if they move forward and get the program. And we can also show them exactly how much money we can save them by doing the program.
Mm, mm. What kind of hesitation do you have with people, Daryl, that, maybe listening to this now or listening to it later that are saying, yeah, yeah. What is it that you can share with us from folks that were like these folks might be hesitant and then turned it around? What can you tell us about that?
Well, I'd say most are skeptical, and I was too. I didn't know, we didn't have a plan or a budget or anything, and this has a built-in budget, something we never had before. And so it's so different from what we're conditioned to uh, know from our I guess history. A lot of times when we were growing up, we didn't talk to our parents about finances, and they didn't talk to us about it. We really didn't learn it in school unless we took that subject,
Right.
or maybe even in college, if we took the financial part of it. But a lot of people just don't know, and they don't know that this money is available to them, and that they can end up canceling out a lot of that interest that they pay the banks,
Mhm.
because the banks get their money on the front end, especially on mortgages.
Right.
Some people say, well, I've got a 3% mortgage or interest rate. And I was, well, that's awesome. But interest rate and interest volume is two different things. It could
Yeah.
be 58 to 60% interest on the front end of that loan. And the faster we can cancel that out, the less we have to pay back to the bank. And in turn, we can use that money to get us out of debt exponentially faster.
Yeah, that's true. And why don't you tell the folks that are listening to it, and everybody that comes in again, please tell us where you are, and if you have any questions, drop them in the chat today, and we'll be able to get your information. If you're interested in getting connected with Daryl, and he'll leave his here shortly. But when you talk about interest rates, that's one thing. When you talk about interest volume, can you talk about, explain what that means and what that is?
Yes. So I've got a formula that I can use to show people how much interest they are actually paying, because the banks get their money on the front end of that loan. So
Yep.
the first 5 to 7 years, they're going to pay the bulk of that interest volume.
Hmm.
But if they spread it out over 30 years, it is going to be a 3%.
Yeah.
But when you pay it on the front end,
Yeah.
it's more like 68 to, or 58 to 60%.
Yeah.
And it depends on the the monthly payment, and of course the principal.
Hmm.
And that's how I can figure it in a formula. But a lot of people don't realize that, and so on average, every 5 to 7 years, most people will either refinance and
Mm.
get the equity out of their home, or they'll buy another home. And so they always stay in that top interest percentage,
Yeah.
because the owners of the company used to have a mortgage loan company,
Okay.
and the people kept coming back to them every so often to cash out the equity. And so they weren't getting anywhere, because they were going out and buying, like the motorcycles and the
Yeah.
toys,
Yeah.
the side by sides and all that, the fun
Yeah.
bus boats. And so when we come back to refinance, they found that, they didn't have that much equity. So eventually they kept coming back, and they felt like they weren't really helping their clients. Yeah, it was a repeat customer, but eventually they couldn't refinance anymore because they done used up all their equity. So
Yeah.
they came out with this program, and it has evolved to be very efficient now. It started out, it was to get you had to have like a home equity line of credit and all that. You don't even have to have that now. And we can
Wow.
help people that don't even have a mortgage as well. Like me, I fell into that category.
Yeah, I'm listening to you share the story, and so the folks that were capitalizing on their business, which was refi, realized that, hey, you know what? That maybe we can create a service that they probably are like much happier around, right? I mean, think about the lives they changed by providing this service. Uh, and you tell us a couple of stories about some of the folks you've helped recently or in the past. I mean,
Okay, well, thank you.
yeah.
Well, I just helped a lady yesterday save almost $56,000,
Mm,
and she was going to be debt free in about 22 years, and now she's using the program. She's going to be debt free in 4 years and 9 months, and
wow.
she was so happy. I mean, that changes generational wealth
Mm,
when you can help people at that level. Another person in Houston, Texas, there's a gentleman. He had 25 years left on his mortgage, and I was able to help him go from 25 years down to 7 using our program. And I
hmm.
saved him just a little over $200,000 in interest that he would have normally paid the bank traditionally. And he was so happy. He said, I get to retire now. And before he couldn't because he's in his early 60s and he still had 25 years left on his mortgage.
Yeah, yeah. Not only that, 25 years, but he's living longer too. So, the trap continues, I guess.
Right. And they love to go to Europe, and they didn't stop doing that. They just got back a couple of months ago, and they love
Mm,
to go out to eat dinner. They didn't have to change their lifestyle whatsoever. And so one of the main things that I hope that people will know is the money that they would normally pay the bank, that the bank is compounding that interest on their behalf. If
hmm.
they cancel that out much quicker, they can be compounding that interest on their behalf and build their dreams and not
Mm,
the banks.
mm. Boy, yeah, and man, we were talking earlier before the show too about the power of education and around things and the lack of it that we had in growing up, in most communities. What do you tell, or do you, Daryl, talk to younger families about some other areas about debt reduction, or what kind of resistance do you find with that younger? What age group, I guess I'm trying to get at, do you find the biggest pushback from? And is it about not being educated in and around, you know, debt and financing?
I'd say it's kind of a mixed age group because uh, I'm a real laid back person. And
Yeah.
so I don't even ask people if I don't go around saying, hey, can I run your complimentary debt free analysis? I wait till they ask me because, uh, when people like you and then they get to know you and then they get to trust you, then and it's different for everybody. It could be when someone meets you right away, they may have that instant trust. And some people it may take 3 months or 6 months, before they feel like they have that trust. And so I'd say it's kind of a mixed age group. I will say this: the people I've helped mostly so far have been probably in the age group of 40 and 65 so far.
Mhm. Yeah. 40 to 65. So just think if we were able to reach that generation that's 20 to 40, what their life would be like with the mindset shift and how they think about that and how they think about money. By the time they're 40, man, it's a whole, I mean, they basically, may have the option to retire early, right? Because I think retirement's not an age, it's an income number.
That's right. I agree. And I'll tell you just a little bit about me before I got on the program.
Mm-hmm.
I was the big spender in my home, and my
Okay.
wife never spends money.
Okay.
And so what it did, the program, I didn't know the program could do this, but it actually changed my mindset not to be that big spender because I wanted to be out of debt. So it was almost like a game to me. And because when you sign into your program, it's web based, and
Okay.
so it's dynamic. So it's always working 24/7 to get you to zero debt. And so when you sign an account and you make a change, like you pay a bill, and it gives you that result right then and there, and it shows you're actually watching your debt go away. And, it's real exciting. It was for me, and it changed my mindset. Like I used to think, okay, I got these credit cards, I can max these things out, but it wasn't my money, you know. And so now that we got them paid off and everything, we still use them for convenience, for our expenses, and then we just pay them off every month. And it's so easy to pay them off because you're not paying somebody else, a couple $100 a month just to borrow their money and never get to pay it off, because the credit cards are designed really not to ever get them paid off.
Yeah, and I love what you just said too around the credit cards about using it, but it's not really your money. Oh man. So tell me now that you mentioned the survey. How long does that take? How much information would I need to provide for you? What's that look like? What's that process like?
Okay, I appreciate that. It's a great question. So what we do is we schedule a time to meet, and it's usually about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
And as soon as we schedule that time, I send over an analysis worksheet that the person fills out, and basically it's their debts, like say it's a mortgage, and then the monthly interest and monthly payments,
Okay.
and or interest and monthly payments, and then the same thing for like credit cards, any student loans, any type of debt the person has, and then so I share my screen on Zoom so that they can see me. I'm basically just putting their information into the program.
Okay.
And then once we get that done, we set another appointment for another 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
And so I share with them their guaranteed debt-free date and how much money I can save them, and answer any questions they have. And if they want to move forward, there is a small investment in the program, but it's a lifetime program, lifetime supported. And people say, well, if I'm going to be debt-free, why would it be a lifetime program? Well, you can forecast things into the future. Like you could, if someone wanted to buy an investment property or several investment properties, you can put that in the program, and it's going to show you exactly what it's going to look like, and your new payoff dates. Like if someone did want to add several homes, um, even like a vehicle or anything like that. Maybe it's a trip to Europe or somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can put that into the program and forecast it for the date that you want that money readily available for you. And it's not attached to any bank accounts or anything like that. It's your money. You're in full control of the program and how much money you put in your bank. And then when that time comes, you just go to the bank, take out your cash, and go pay cash for whatever it is that you want.
Wow. Because so I did hear you correctly. What you're saying is it has the forecast ability to allow you to, if you want to get into real estate and buy real estate and you want to spend $200,000, maybe that'd be your entry level. So this system will allow you to put that in there, and it'll come out with, the time it's going to be that you'll be able to access the funds and how those funds are saved. Wow.
Yes, it's very versatile. Even like if you wanted someone wanted to plan for vacation next year, and they said, "Well, what it's going to put on a credit card?" Well, you can actually go in and see what that looks like because it's got a true cost value button on it.
Yes. Uh-oh. Hang in there, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be back here in a second, I'm sure. Technology is there, and this is a great point where we want to make sure we hear too. Okay, I see you kind of broke up a little bit, Daryl. Can you say the cost value piece again?
Yes, it's a true cost value feature on the program. And so let's just say you have an anniversary next year, and you and your wife are going to take a trip to Europe, and you're going to put it on a credit card. Say it's $10,000. It's going to affect everything else that's going on right now. So when you click that true cost value, it's going to show you how much it's really going to cost you because of the interest on the credit card, but on the lagging behind everything else that you already had going on. And so you can say, okay, it's going to cost me like $35,000 to take this $10,000. So maybe that's not a good business decision to do right now. So you can just take it right back out and say, maybe we'll go in a couple years or so, or maybe we can even push it on out a little further maybe when we're debt free and we just pay cash.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. And I'm sitting here thinking about reality. Can I just talk reality for just a second as we wind down? And it's kind of ironic that Santa Claus and Christmas, and we're talking debt free, and people hear me when I say this. Maybe this time, some folks that are really interested and want to try something else that historically may spend a lot of money on credit for Christmas. Maybe this time next year, with Daryl's program, this is just my brain spinning. Maybe you plan and get involved here, and then this time next year, you have the cash set aside to replace whatever it is that you may be. Just those folks out there putting everything on credit cards, because I know that happens a lot, and then they're like they're holding their head come January because now they have all this Christmas credit card debt. What do you think of something like that? You know how my brain is, man. I'm just Santa Claus and giving back real money, right?
Yeah, that's right. That sounds good. And Santa don't want people to be in debt. So yeah, and when those credit cards start coming in, like you said, in January, February, people are like, "Wow, what did I just do?"
Yeah. So I hope you guys are hearing this out there. That are listening, listen to it later. Think about that. Maybe that's a point where you put it to the test. Those of you that have budgets or would like to start to save some money, I really encourage you to think about doing the free survey or analysis that he's offering. So there, how do folks get a hold of you? Email, phone number. What's the best way to reach the debt free?
Well, thank you, Geoff. They can go to my website, debtfreesanta.com, or they can email me if that's more convenient for them. It's darylwicker@gmail.com. And then, or they could call me. 336-926-1492. And I'll say it again, 336-926-1492. And we can set up a time, or if they just have questions, everything starts with a conversation, and I'm not going to try to sell them anything. I'm here to help people, and it's okay if they don't want to buy it. That's fine. I just thank them for taking a look at it. And who do you know that would love to be debt free?
Yeah. And hey, Daryl, we've got everything up here in the chat and right in front of us now for folks that want to get a hold of him. And there's some things right there. And I think you have the opportunity. Even the phone number is in there. So please take advantage of that information. And let's work on doing something different financially for not only yourself, but for your family. Those of you that have kids and want to build a legacy, man, just think about the impact as we wind down, the impact of you stepping into this and on this platform. And in a year from now or 7 years from now, wherever it is that your numbers come out to be time-wise, that it worked. How would your life be like when it worked? You'd be sitting there next to Santa Claus with a big bright smile like he has. Oh man. So any parting words, Daryl, as we wrap this up, man? I really appreciate you, sharing this information today. I know it's going to help a lot of people. Any last minute words you want to share with us?
Yes, sir. And thank you so much for having me today, Geoff. I really appreciate it. And I would say, and most of the time when you hear about statistics, they're already old and things have changed. But the latest statistics that I heard, 64 people in America live paycheck to paycheck, and that's very sad. But then when you throw in the inflation that everybody's been hit with this year, it makes it worse. And people are, I know they're swiping those credit cards out there, and a lot of them are very high interest. And I just like to encourage people that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel and actually be debt free like me. and it feels really good. It's very relieves a lot of stress, and it's just a good feeling. But thank you so much for having me on today, Geoff. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, man. I'm glad that you carved out some time, because I know, when you got plenty of time and choices and money, you could be doing a whole lot of other things, and we appreciate you doing that. And maybe one other thing, because we're also Daryl, in and around health. And before I let you go, just what is it that you provide for water? You got like 30 seconds to share that, because we want to make sure. I mean, I've seen a little bit of it. We got just a little second. Tell me about the water program or system that you have, and maybe folks can check that out as well.
Okay, well, thank you. It's a technology that is built in Japan in a certified medical device facility, and it's a portable machine that hooks to the kitchen faucet. And we have under-the-counter units too. But what it does, it converts regular tap water into the healthiest antioxidant water in the world, and it tastes great too. Many NFL teams drink the water, local universities here. And it gives them that slight edge, that advantage, because it's able to give you energy and it hydrates you the best of any water in the world. And it also makes other water, pH waters, that gives you a chance to live a totally green lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so if people want to know more about that, they can contact me, or they can go to darylwhicker.com and see my website. It kind of goes through all that, but it's great for people, pets, green living. It takes pesticides off your fruits and vegetables. It does so much more. But anyway, thank you so much for letting me add that in there too.
Yeah, what I mean, because part of our show is about health and wellness, and water is so important, right? I mean, majority of our body is made up of water, and then, there's so many stories around water. I saw something a couple of weeks ago where he showed us. I'm like, man, when you wash your vegetables, are you really washing them? Right? And and are you really, if you're green and environmentally focused, are you using the right thing? So the information for his information, darylwhicker.com, is in the chat. So please, let's get debt free, start drinking healthier water. And Daryl, thank you so much, my friend, for hanging out with me for a few minutes today. It's been great.
Well, thank you so much too, Geoff. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your friendship as well. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Back at you, big fella. Talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. So, hey, listen, everybody, I hope you found this information to be helpful. And Daryl is what you see. I mean, he is just a genuinely great guy. And, he put him to the test. Reach out to him and check out the survey and see if that's something that can help you out. And I encourage you. This goes back to what we talked about earlier, right? About successes in the attempt. Let's make an attempt different, a different attempt in and around your finances, right? I mean, hey, I have nothing to gain from this information other than the fact that I know it works. He's helping people out there. And listen, with high inflation, high interest rates, if you're a homeowner, just bought, or your mortgage is changing, or you wanted to buy a house and now you're kind of stuck, think about how your life will be when you follow a new path, and that path leads you to being debt-free, where you have different choices in your life and all that stuff. So before I go, I want to make sure that everybody is aware that tomorrow I'm getting into my real estate hat for just a minute, right? For all you female investors out there, listen to me. I got to take just 2 seconds to invite you to the Build Your Flipping Challenge. It gets kicked off tomorrow. If you haven't registered, the chat, its information is in the chat. It's Build Your Flipping Business. That's right. We're going to talk about that new female investor who's got a lot of information, a little hesitant, maybe roadblocks in there about, can I do it? I don't have the experience. I don't have any construction experience. Contractors don't give me any credit, all that stuff. If that's you, listen to me, register for the challenge. It's in the link now, right? And let's take all that noise and let's move it aside and let's go from stuck to unstoppable. Let us be the bridge, right? From going where you are right now to that bridge to where the outcome you've been chasing you want to have in real estate. You can earn it. I'm not going to say it's going to happen without work, because you got to do the work, but we're going to help you with that. So join the Facebook group, Build Your Flipping Business, right? Because that's where we're going to have a community of like-minded folks. You're right, that we're not going to be limiting ourselves by where we are. We're going to be encouraging one another, sharing information. That's where you get more time with me. And lastly, listen, VIP, we have an upgrade for VIP, and there's several different benefits in that. But the most important one is that you're going to be able to come in after the challenge and get down and dirty with me on the questions that you really didn't get answered, or you really have some concerns challenge that we couldn't get to during the challenge. And you're going to get some free benefits around some additional coaching calls and some other things. So click that link for the VIP. It's $47. And listen, I'll guarantee you after 3 days, if you don't get more than what you invested in, $47, I'll give you $47 back times 5. Whatever that math is. Hey, look, it's a night out with your wife or your friends or whatever. So click the links below. Let's get registered. And thank again, my friend, Mr. Daryl, debt-free Santa. Look, change your life, change the way you think, change the conversation in your head about yourself. Let's do something great together. Stay tuned, baby. We'll see you next time. All righty now. Bye-bye. Mm-hmm.